Hi, my name is J.D. Stubenberg. I'm one of the bar managers here at Jimmy Mac's in Portland, Oregon. Great jazz club. We like to make great cocktails as well. Today we're going to be talking about making cocktails with tequila, one of my favorite liqueurs. Tequila is a product of the agave plant. They're typically coming from Mexico for the most part. It comes in a variety of styles and a variety of prices as well. Making cocktails with tequila, there's one thing you need to keep in mind. Cheap tequila needs lots of help because cheap tequila tastes very bad. So you need to add lots of flavoring agents, sugars and syrups and all those kind of fun things. So if you're going to be drinking tequila, you're better off going with a little better quality, spend a little more money, and you're going to get a better result in the end, better cocktails and less hangovers as well, which is always nice. Probably the famous tequila cocktail there is the Margarita, and even though it's been made a million times by a million different people and a million different fashions, it is still one of my favorite drinks, and one of our signature drinks here as well is our 221 Rita, so that's what we're going to make for you today. Salt or no salt? Some people prefer to have salt on a margarita on the rim. Some people do not like to have it. I personally don't like it. However, as a general rule of thumb, you always make a margarita with salt unless a customer tells you they don't want to have it. So we're going to make it with salt today so you can see how it's done. You're going to take your serving glass, a lime, run the lime around the rim of the glass. This puts some lime juice onto it, which will make salt stick to the glass itself. As you can see, got a nice thick layer of salt around the rim there. Okay, so we're going to set that aside for a second. Get your mixing glass out. Now, in making margaritas, typically I tend to try to avoid using sugar, but most Americans need a little bit of a sweeter style of a drink. And here at Jimmy Mac's, we don't use pre-made sour mixes or any of that kind of stuff. It's all made from scratch. As a result, we have to kind of bump this up with a little bit of sugar to make it palatable for most normal people. Me not being normal, I don't like sugar. But we're going to put the sugar in there today just so you understand how it works. 2 cubes, please. We're going to cover this with a mixture of lime juice and orange juice. This is a ratio of 2 to 1, lime juice to OJ. The orange juice is a real essential ingredient here. A lot of people don't use it, but in making a good margarita, orange juice provides a natural sweetener that will offset the sourness and the tartness of the lime. Again, as we talked about sugar earlier, you can get away without using sugar for this cocktail, but if you need to sweeten a little bit, which is what we're going to start with today, a little bit of sugar helps. So, as far as how much we're going to use, just enough to cover up both cubes of sugar. It's approximately 1.5 ounces to 2 ounces thereabouts. Once that's covered, take your muddler out, and you're going to crush this sugar up so it breaks it up, which will make it easier to dissolve as you're shaking your cocktail later on. Okay. That'll give you a really good sour base to make a margarita. This is also a great sour base used for all sorts of other cocktails, kamikazes, all sorts of things like that. So, now, again, we're going to use plenty of ice. Fill your mixing glass all the way to the rim with ice. Start out with a decent quality tequila at the very least. However, you don't want to use super premium tequilas in making margaritas. Why? Because it's a waste of really good money. Unless you have more money than you know what to do with, or if you have a real particular flavor, or you have a customer, if you're a bartender, who really demands that I have to have Patron Añejo at $50-some-odd a bottle in my margarita, knock yourself out. They're paying for it. It's their choice. For myself personally, and as a home bartender, I prefer Salzornitos. It's a reposado, which means it's been aged for 1 year. It's a very good quality tequila without spending a lot of money, and it makes great margaritas. It's great by itself. Straight up, it's great on the rocks. It's great with everything. So that's what we're going to use today. We're going to start out with about 2 ounces of Salzornitos tequila. There we go. We're going to add to this triple sec. What is triple sec? Triple sec is a brandy of orange liqueur. It is predominantly sugar. This is a great sweetening agent. It's used in all sorts of different kinds of cocktails. By itself, it's a little too sweet to drink on its own. If you take triple sec to the next higher level, you get into things like Cointreau or Grand Marnier. They are the same basic concept. They're brandies as well. They just have more oomph to them and more particular flavors. Grand Marnier is something that's used very typically in making what they call a Cadillac margarita as a float. It kind of blows up the orange essences of the drink. Many higher level bars will use Cointreau as opposed to triple sec as a sweetening agent. In our case, we're just going to stick with the triple sec because it's nice and simple. So about 1 ounce of triple sec, and you're in good shape. Again, cocktail shaker on top of your mixing glass. Get a good seal and shake it vigorously. You got to break that sugar down. Okay. Now, the whole puppy can go right back up there. Look at that, it's perfect. Now we're going to garnish this, of course, with a straw, making it easier for sipping, or people can drink it right off the rim to get that salt as well. And a good squeeze of lime, just to add that extra little kick and a little bit of color there as well. And now you have a classic 2-2-1 margarita. All right, so we've made ourselves a wonderful 2-2-1 margarita. This is the classic example of a great tequila cocktail. Again, the good rule of thumb when using tequila for making drinks is use a quality product. However, don't go overboard. If you're going to be buying super premium tequilas, drink those straight. They're just fine by themselves. They don't need any help.